I told you all it might be a while between uploads. I'm not exactly consistent on this channel. I've had a lot of other things going on. You might hear occasionally birds and rain and maybe the occasional car driving by. I've got the window open up. It's nice out. It's April 1st as I'm recording this, and it's a real spring day, actually. It's, it's a little warm, a little rainy, and that's not a bad thing. I should be writing a script right now for one of the videos on my other channel, but I honestly got part of the way into it, and then I couldn't get my headspace right to complete it at the moment. So I needed to do something to try and clear my head and do something almost therapeutic, and that's kind of what this channel is all kind of for at the moment for me, is just kind of a therapy thing. So I don't expect anybody to ever watch any of these, but they're going to be out there. And I know they say you shouldn't put a lot of your stuff out online. Honestly, I've been putting stuff online for the past few years. Most of myself and things that I've talked about have been online for years, and I don't really give a shit anymore. Okay, at some point I'm going to be dead, and all of this is what's going to be left of me, is what I put out on the internet and the shit that I talk about. And so why not? Everybody else does it, and so that's what I'm going to do. I had a dentist appointment yesterday that I don't really remember. My wife forced me to go to the dentist because a few weeks ago I started having some pain up here in one of my teeth. Turns out I needed a root canal. And I don't do dentists. I have a very, very, very bad anxiety with a dentist. Like, I can't think straight. So she forced me to go because she knew it was what was best for me. Thankfully, the dentist that I go to has this thing. They give me these pills, and I don't remember shit. It's great. Like, I went the entire, I think the appointment was a few hours. I don't even know. I don't barely remember. I got up to have a sandwich last night and then went back to bed. And I don't remember even having the sandwich, basically. So, like, it wasn't too bad. But what's on my mind this morning, what's really been bothering me, is the future. I think about it from looking at the past, and the reason why the future bothers me so much is because of the past. And I don't necessarily mean the past on a worldwide scale either. Like, my own personal past. I'm going to be 40 years old in a little under 2 months. And I look back and I think about some of the highs and the lows and the things I've gone through. I've got highs like getting married to my wife and having my kids and coming home from Iraq safely and graduating basic training and getting promoted at work. Like, I've got some really good highs there to look back on. But the lows that I look back on, there's a lot there that I lost relationships and people that I've lost. My mom died when I was 19. Before that, she was on dialysis for a few years. I was helping out with my baby sister because my stepdad, who abused the hell out of me, didn't want to do his job as a parent, like all of that, right? And then she died right after I graduated high school, and my wife and I wound up getting pregnant with our first daughter, and then the second daughter came along, and I was in some dire straits mentally, and I was like, I need to do something to fix my life, and that turned out to be joining the military, which not a great idea when you have mental health issues, but it worked out in the long run. I grew up quite a bit. I changed a lot over that time, both during and after my time in the military. But throughout all of these the years, even since then, I've struggled with keeping any kind of relationships, talking to anybody, having friendships. I had work relationships back when I had a office job, but even in the past couple of years, I haven't had. I've been doing YouTube full time for the past couple of years, which is a blessing in the fact that, like, I get to pick my schedule. I'm doing what I love. I really enjoy my job. I don't make nearly enough money at it to continue it in the long term if something doesn't change. But for now, it's workable for the short term. But the side effect of that is I don't really have a lot of people that I talk to. I've got my wife who's there for me every day, and she's been there every day for me for 21 years now, almost 22 years. We've been together a long time. And I think about that and I'm like, okay, she's the only person that's been in my life that long. She's been in my life longer than anybody else. My mom died when I was 19, so she wasn't even in my life for that long. My stepdad, I had a relationship with him a few years ago, but then he decided he didn't like one of my YouTube videos. I shit you not. He commented on one of my YouTube videos where I was talking about the Supreme Court and how justices in the Supreme Court need to leave their religion at the doorstep when they come in to make decisions. He didn't like that, and so he commented and told me just to have a nice life, and that was it. He was done with me. And that was after I'd given him a second chance because we'd already had problems, right? So all of that, and it's just been a mess. And my oldest daughter last year went away to basic training. She's out of the house. She's on her own. She's making a life for herself, which is a good thing. It's a scary thing as a parent, especially right now with everything going on in the Middle East and this fucking idiot in charge of things that's kind of just making a mess of things. But she's out. She's making a life of her own. My youngest daughter is getting ready to be a senior in high school next year, and she's planning to graduate and possibly, hopefully, go off to college. She wants to become a vet. My son he's got 2 years left of high school. He's working on some things, and he's not 100% sure. He kind of wants to be in programming, but he doesn't know, and especially with AI and everything. And all of that plays into what's really eating away at me and bothering me. And it's the fact that the future right now is so fucked. It's not in a good way. It's not in a good place right now. I am scared to death for my kids. I don't know what's going to happen, what kind of world they are going to have as adults, as they grow into it, as they hit their 20s. I'm scared to death that their future is going to be just in a bad place. And it's all because we have these octogenarian Christian white supremacist nut jobs running everything. We literally have somebody right now in the White House, in the cabinet, the president of the United States cabinet, who thinks that starting a war, having this war with Iran, is going to bring back his God. They think they're going to have the second coming of Christ because they're going to because of this war. It's fucking crazy. They are ruining the global economy. They are destroying lives. We've had 13, as of right now, 13 U.S. service members have been killed. We've had hundreds, if not thousands, of Iranians that have been killed. People in Israel that have been killed. Innocent people who didn't want that necessarily. Who didn't want any wars or anything like that. They just want to live free. They just want to be able to take their kids to school, go to the grocery store or the market and get their food and have a life. That's all they want. And you have these assholes in charge of everything right now that are throwing it all away, who have already lived their lives. People who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who had their time. They had their fun. They got to live their lives. And because they don't like brown people, because they don't like gay people, because they don't like people who are different from them, they think that just throwing it all into the blender and screwing it all up is the right way to do things. And it pisses me off, and it frustrates me, and it makes me it makes me sad for what might happen in the future. What I wanted more than anything ever, especially in the past few years, is for my kids to be able to grow up, to be able to get out in the world, to be able to build their own lives and be happy. But also, my wife and I, when we had our first daughter, we were 20. We were young. And so we didn't have a ton of time as a couple, and like as an adult couple. And that was our choice. We weren't planning for children right away, but we did. And that's something that we have taken on, and we have loved them, and we have taken care of them, and we have put them first in everything. And so my thought was, okay, once we get them raised, once they get into their late teens, their 20s, we can get them off to college, we can get them out in the world, and then me and her can spend our time together. And we can go places, we can travel, we can see the sights, we can do all the things that we didn't get to do before. because we like that's just what we have both wanted that. We've talked about that. We've dreamt about that. And increasingly, every day that goes by, it's looking more and more like that's never going to be able to happen because of the decisions of these idiots in charge and because of the people that have put them there. I've heard a lot of people in the past couple of months especially who have had the audacity to say, "Oh, well, I voted for him, but I regret it now. I didn't see this coming. There's no way anybody could have seen this coming." Bitch, lots of people saw it coming. Like, I was screaming it from the rooftops. I was making videos talking about this. They're still up on my channel that I made them republic not long ago. Other people with bigger voices than me who have a bigger platform than me were saying it. There are people that were calling things like what's happened with ICE in the past year. There are people that were calling things like a war with Iran, things like the cuts to the SNAP benefits and the Medicaid, because God forbid we help anybody in this country who might be down. It is pathetic. I can't even apologize for that. It is 100% pathetic. It is ridiculous that we live in a world where we have the ability, we have the funds, we have the technology to make sure that every single person in this world is taken care of. Health-wise, is taken care of. We could feed and house everybody. Just talk about the United States. We'll keep focus on just the United States. We could feed and house and clothe every single person in this country and have money left over at the end of the day. And yet we have a group of people that have the balls to stand out there and say, "No, you don't deserve it because I don't think you do." It's pathetic. It is weak to stand up and to say, to act like helping people, doing the right thing, not starting wars that we don't need to start. There's a time and a place for a war. There is absolutely a time and a place because there are certain circumstances you can't get out of. You have to fight. The war in Iran is not one of those. The war in Iran is not a war that we had to fight. They didn't have any kind of nuclear weapons. They weren't on the verge of making nuclear weapons. The administration even admitted that they weren't. I mean, hell, last summer they were like, "Oh, we bombed the hell out of them. They can't do anything now." And then they turn around and say, "Well, they were on the verge of making a weapon." And the hypocrisy of it all. I grew up as a Christian conservative. I voted for George W. Bush and John McCain. My first election was George W. Bush in 2004. I voted for him. I voted for John McCain in 2008 while I was at basic training, by the way. I was about as Christian conservative as you can get in the 90s and the 2000s as I was growing up because my family was. And back then, the argument was always, big government's bad. We don't need to be doing war. Should be for defense purposes. We should be looking out for things. And now it's like, well, it's okay if we spend trillions of dollars that we don't have. It's okay if we have all of these foreign entanglements that don't make any sense. It's okay if the government intrudes on your lives and tells you who you can and can't marry, or who you can and can't love, or, the government should be able to intrude. We should be able to spy on people via social media, and we should be able to go in and we should be able to arrest them because we don't like what they're saying. Just yesterday or the day before, there was a news story after the No Kings protest from this weekend that said that in June or July, the time frame's not 100% set yet, the president is planning on having a group get together to figure out how they can identify the people at the protests, so they can go after them, the Antifa people. Antifa is anti-fascism. It's not an organization. It's not a group. It's an idea. In 1944, 1943, 1940, the 1940s in general, America was Antifa. America was anti-fascist. We went after the Germans who were fascist. We went after the Italians, the Japanese. All of these were fascist. Conservatives for decades were anti-communist, anti-fascism, even socialism. And nowadays it's, well, socialism's okay when it comes to companies, but we can't have socialism for individuals. Communism's okay when the government needs to step in and wants to make a profit on things like oil booms, but we can't have communism when it comes to individual people. Fascism is openly embraced now by the Republican Party. It is openly embraced. They have stepped up and they have said, yeah, we're fascist now, and anybody who's anti-fascist, we're going to come after. That's literally the stance they have now. And it's ridiculous and it's unacceptable that we live in a world where I have to worry about what my kids are going to go through in the future and how bad things just might get because of a few old farts who are past their prime. I'm sorry, if you're over the age of 60, 65, you shouldn't have a say in the future of the country. You just shouldn't. You're not going to be around for it, all right? That's the sad truth. And when I get to be 65 or 70 years old, I'll feel the same way. Because guess what? It's about the kids. It's about the grandkids. It's about the future. And when I'm 60 or 65 or 70 years old, I don't have a ton of time left. So there's no reason I should be making decisions about that are going to impact the country 40 or 50 years down the road. If I don't have to live through it, I shouldn't be making decisions about it. Full stop. Plain and simple. It's really that easy. And for a lot of young people right now, when they should be standing up and they should be taking a leadership role, they should be running for office and being able to start making an impact on the world. They've lost the desire to do so. They don't think that they could even make a change. They don't think that it is worth it. Why stand up and try to make a world a better place if it's not going to be worth it? If you don't have the power, if older people are going to come along and tell you, no, sorry, we're going to do things the way we want them. That's the way it's always been. And the problem right now is that the boomer generation, Gen X, the biggest generation, the most people, but they're starting to die off. Millennials are starting to take charge of a little thing. And I'm hoping to God, millennials, my generation, I'm hoping to God that we can figure it out and do it better. That we can look at what our parents and grandparents did and say, no, that was stupid. That was wrong. Let's make the world a better place for everybody. Let's stop sending ICE out into the streets to arrest random people and kill people. Let's stop going after countries for stupid reasons and pretending like we have a reason to start a war. Let's stop alienating our allies by increasingly throwing tariffs out there and telling other countries, no, we're going to do it on our own. You have people like Donald, I don't want to say his name, the president of the United States. I don't want to give his name power, right? He doesn't deserve it. Him and the Republican Party, basically, that are standing up there and they are saying, well, other countries have taken advantage of America for so long, and, we aren't going to take that anymore. We deserve to be paid back. No. When you have the power, when you have the ability, when you can do good, you just do good for the sake of doing good. You don't do good so that you get paid back. You don't send foreign aid to countries to help them out so that they can pay you back. You send foreign aid because you have the ability to do so and it's the right thing to do. You help people out where they need help because you have the ability to do so. America's done that before, and America's made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. We've done some stupid shit in the past. But we've also helped a lot of people. We've made the world safer, stronger overall. We've done good things that have set up for a potentially successful future. We've advanced technology. We have built bridges with countries. And this administration and this party right now are tearing it all apart. And it scares the shit out of me for my kids, for their future, any potential grandkids I might have, and for the ability, quite frankly, for me and my wife to be able to spend some time together and go travel and see. I'd love to see the world. I would love to visit places. I'd love to see Paris at some point. See the pyramids of Giza. Travel the back roads of France and Italy, and go check out Europe. I would love to be able to do that. To see Australia and the Opera House in Sydney. And it's stuff that I'm never going to be able to afford to do. And potentially I'm never going to be able to do because of everything that's happening right now. And because these old farts who need to go, they need to go away. We need to impeach and remove them. And we need to stand up and we need to start saying, no, we're done with this bullshit. And we need to do the right thing moving forward. And I'm afraid that I'm afraid that not enough people are going to stand up and do the right thing when it comes to that, because doing the right thing is sometimes a lot more difficult than just sitting by and letting it happen, or falling for the ruse. And especially with the internet now, everything's AI, everything is fake, made up. This video, I don't expect this video to get anywhere anyway. My channel's not, this channel in particular is just not exactly that kind of a channel. But there's so much AI stuff out there. There's so much, these kind of messages just don't go anywhere. Nobody ever sees them. The messages that they see are the more mainstream messages. It's the left versus right. It's well, we have to hate them because they're Republicans. We have to hate them because they're Democrats. When in reality, it should be, we're all human beings. Why don't we just do the right thing for the sake of doing the right thing? Why don't we just say, hey, I don't know, making sure people have food is a good idea. Making sure people have housing is a good idea. We should probably just do these things because it's the right thing to do to help humanity as a whole, because we have the capability of doing so. We have the resources to do so. That's what we should just say. Drop the left and right shit and just say, let's do the right thing. But that's I probably went on a little longer than I wanted to. I had to get that off my chest. I had to vent. That's ultimately what this channel is going to be about in the future. As I go forward with it, every once in a while, I'm just going to upload these rant videos where I just talk about something that's on my mind that's bothering me when I have to get something off my chest. If you enjoyed it, if for some reason you made it around and you're still sitting here 23 minutes in now, and you feel the same way or whatever, hey, subscribe. That's fine if you want to. If you want to, like, I've got another channel. I talk about the philosophy and ethics of video games, and whether characters in video games talk about the from a realistic standpoint. It's called, the channel's called Lost in Games, but it's about philosophy and that kind of thing. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, you can go check that channel out. I'll probably have a link somewhere. But yeah, I don't want to drag this on, but thank anybody that stood around for it, and I'll talk to you all later.